All set?
All right. Monday, November 6th, Selectmen's meeting, Town of Tufton Borough. I'd like everybody to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Beautiful. We have no public input, and we move right to the approval of minutes, please. First up I have is October 16th.
That's the 9:30 meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
I don't have any corrections.
Nothing jumped out at me, and because I'm not the punctuation expert either.
I'll move that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
You all set, Bob?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have a non-public from October 16th.
I'll make a motion that we approve these.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have work session minutes from October 30th. And I did see one thing. Let's get to it. Probably can't find it now. But it wasn't a big deal. Okay, it's on the second page, 2/3 of the way down. The first time we mentioned Jack Parsons, asked if the selectmen were all set with the aeration overseeding. Should be aeration and overseeding. In two separate operations. That's the only thing I found that I had any issues with.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve as corrected.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful. Next up, we're supposed to be having our police chief in for his monthly meeting.
Well, before we do that, Mr. Chairman,
Certain.
I'd like to make a motion that we unseal the sealed minutes from
I'll second that.
November 6th.
Any other discussion?
From when?
October
Well, we
6th.
just approved it.
November 6th.
October 6th, I'm sorry. October 16th.
October 16th,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dates, okay.
It says 11/6/23.
Yeah, there's no names or anything mentioned there that
Right.
really gotta do anything. So a motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion from Selectman Murray?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unseal those, please.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. The police chief is due in 1 minute.
So do you want to vote on that?
Oh, to unseal?
No, the
MS1?
MS1.
Yeah. We've looked at our updated MS1. All those in favor of signing?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. It had an increase in payment in lieu of taxes of $7,000.
Right.
That was the change.
Yep.
Okay, so
All right.
we'll get copies of MS1 next
Is
week.
anybody willing to go see if the police chief is
Mhm.
available?
Are we doing police budget tonight or just?
No,
fire.
just fire, which includes a whole bunch of different ones, truly.
Right.
But some of them are small enough that they'll go right along. If he's not, Dennis is due at 4:00. When Dennis is here, he might be able to come down and do Parks and Rec.
Sounds like he's on the phone. You can hear him from here.
Dennis? Yeah, he might be a little loud, but he's not wearing his hearing aids.
This is a decent proposal.
What do we got?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the solar proposal, yeah.
Do you
We're
want-
talking about that.
I made some copies, Guy. Want a copy?
Can't
Someone's
find-
in there.
Someone's in there. I think I have a copy. Is that the bright?
Right spot.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
Got a whole bunch of different things actually, but I do have
Someone's
that.
in the police station.
Yeah, and I had asked him a bunch of questions, so
Yep.
kind of answered him. I'm still not confident about signing over the renewable energy credits, but I've also asked Tammy to give him a call since she can set him up at a selectmen's meeting.
Come on in, yeah.
So we can talk about it.
Good.
Still haven't heard from the other two. One of them is working on a design, is that what you said, Kenny?
Here we have Chief
Yes.
Gary. Great. Afternoon, Chief.
Revisions.
Revision.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeepers. So I see that I got, about to take some of the September call-outs off the list. There's only 3 call-outs, not the 5.
Okay.
God.
Yeah. So, done some, this month we've kind of taken care of some training, online training we had to take care of for eligibility for grants, which included interoperability, child passenger safety, pedestrian bicycle laws. Activities a little bit behind last year in some areas. I think part of that's because we just haven't had the coverage, the number of people working. So a lot of the calls have gone other ways or haven't been discovered. We are still waiting on the 2023 parts. 2022 Tahoe, we just have some equipment reinstalled. We had to take that up and get a recall done on it, which required some of the police equipment to be removed. So it's been a process, but it's done. The RAM is on the web through Craigslist, Municipal Association, and I believe it's up on our website for bids. So we already had one call.
I printed the app for someone else today too.
Okay, so there's some interest there. Let's see, as you're probably aware, there was a cyber incident last Friday here, or over the last week. And I've been talking to Tom at Lakes Region Computer about the issues and where we need to go. One of the things he's working on is an incident response plan, so we know who to contact in the certain levels of incidents that happen. They've done that for Meredith and Moultonborough, so they're working on one for us now. And I've talked to Audrey about the direct deposit form and process. One of the things that's happened, another thing I've talked to Tom about is prohibited technology list. The state has one, so you can't have TikTok on our system, anything attached to our system, because there's.
And we shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but people bring their own phones
So do they,
sometimes, and they shouldn't connect if they have certain
Right.
known or suspected issues or suspected technology on their equipment, on their personal equipment too. So he's looking into that. I know the state has a list of them. The other thing that I've noticed, and I get so through part of what we have, every month we have a report. We have a gateway that through Lakes Region that provides us our training for security. Cybersecurity, we're kind of required to have that, to have insurance. for it. That's the fishing training that I've turned the certificates in on, all that. 'Cause this was a spearfishing attack is how we kind of got, it happened. And one of the things is that if you look at some of the things, for example, the policies, we have a policy, I know I gave a copy of it a little while ago. There's only 10 out of 18 people have acknowledged the policies. The courses, you can see, out of the 18 for cybersecurity training, 9 have completed it. 3 are in progress, 6 haven't started it. I would hope that we could see those numbers go up. I think that'd be important to at least show that we're making efforts to make our employees aware of what could happen and what things to look out for, and at least I can tell you if you look at like security shorts, so what you've got there is every week we get this like 3-minute video on some topic, usually on Thursdays. And I can tell you that everybody in the police department has done them all. I think 2 of the security shorts that just came out this month because somebody's been off. But other than that, I mean, I think we need to make ourselves more aware of the training and get everybody up to speed as to what can and can't happen and things to look out for.
So we have numbers, do we have a list of who's done what?
It is available, yes.
Because we don't have.
It is available.
We have to be a little specific about who we're telling needs to get trained. I mean, right
Yeah.
now you've got 9 completed in the cybersecurity and 3 on the way, so you got 12 out of 18 is not a bad place to be at this point, but then you've got others where it's.
And this was also
less.
the end of, so it was like a week old now, so
Right.
some people may have taken it since, but. So this is kind of a synopsis, a snapshot that's given every month
Mhm.
from the program. Managers, people listed as administrators, I think there's 3 of us.
Mhm.
Myself, Audrey, and somebody else have access to see who has and hasn't done the various individual courses, and have the ability to send them emails saying, reminding them to do that through that process.
Is this something you need us to make a decision on?
I just would hope that you would, I don't think you need to make a decision, I think I would hope that you would support efforts to get that done, especially in light of,
Well, I think we need to light a fire under some people's asses, to be honest with you, is what I think. All right? If you want the Board of Selectmen to do that, we kind of have to know who it is. And you wouldn't say that here, of course.
no, I think you could talk to, again, like I said, there's 3 people listed as managers, I know Audrey's one, I'm one, I'm not sure who the third is, but they could, I think we can
Encourage that people.
encourage them to get them done,
All right,
because of the importance of it.
no doubt.
I mean,
This
this
is
is,
important.
Do we need a policy?
so we have a policy in here already.
Yeah.
Some people haven't read it yet
Mm-hmm.
and signed off on it. The other part is a response plan that Tom's working on. They've got one kind of, a blueprint for one, if you will, boilerplate one. They just have to have it set for each, who do we contact if there's a problem? If it's a red, orange, kind of I guess it goes by colors, but there's 4 levels of incidents and who gets contacted at what. So he's working on getting that, so so we know what to do if we have another incident like this, who gets contacted, at what level do you need to go? Do we need to?
Command, sure.
Huh?
Chain of command.
Well, not just chain of command, at what point do we have to call the Secret Service? Well, in this case, we didn't lose any money, so we don't need to do that.
Mhm.
Do we need to contact Primex, get their cyber people involved? Do we need to contact the state? There's a CIC that have it, which is a computer incident section. Do we need to go beyond that to the CISA, the Computer Infrastructure Agency, which is federal? That's where those different levels go. I mean, obviously, I talked to Tom, he talked to Primex, we're good with just doing a policy at this point, but getting that program up so everybody knows what to do if something like this happens again. and make sure everybody's up to speed on the training, so.
Right. Because the best defense is not just the policy, it's compliance. And this is what compliance looks like. So you need 18 out of 18.
To have
on
read
all
the
of
policy,
these,
yeah.
So that, you can defend your damages, if you
Yeah,
will.
this is not dissimilar to what happened in Peterborough where they end up losing $1.7 billion.
Mhm.
How, obviously this was a much smaller amount and it was caught in time,
Right.
but it was not a dissimilar way that it was done.
That's the second time today I've heard that Peterborough
It
incident.
was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2.3 million, they got a little over 500,000 back, so
Wow.
they were out $1.7 million. And I just watched, one of the training things I just did was that, watching the video on the presentation that Primex did on that. And they talked about Erie, Colorado getting hit for over $1 million, same sort of thing.
So it's now become a case study.
It's not it's not uncommon. I mean, most of them are smaller amounts, not like to that amount, but it's we just need to be proactive to make sure we're aware of what can and how to. The best prevention is the training, and then if something happens, we know what to do. But so I made sure I reached out to Tom to make sure we're in compliance with what we need to do also for Primex to keep our insurance
So should we
liable.
set a timetable for this? I mean,
Like-
I'd hate to get to the point where we're telling people they're not gonna get a step increase because they haven't done their cyber training. But I think,
Well, if we're gonna do that, it's a little late because there's a step increase in the budget we're gonna look at tonight,
right,
so.
no, I know, well, this isn't gonna
Going
end until we
forward.
have 18 out of
Right,
18, so 24 is coming right up.
how much time is involved, you roughly, to get this completed for one person, chief?
They're probably about 10 minutes apiece. They're not in depth, they're not huge.
So overall, you got an hour's worth of stuff to do?
I'd give it a couple hours.
Okay.
And you don't want to sit and watch them all at once.
Well, no,
either.
but I would think by the first of the year that someone ought to be able to complete this without
Yeah.
being
Right.
too drudgery, without it being too much drudgery on them, yeah.
Yeah, was part of the problem though is some of these people are very intermittent. They may only work. Because it's every email box that has this.
It's only 18 employees, so,
I can
Yeah.
work with the chief to set up a schedule and contact them, and I think,
right. But those
um,
are our full-time employees.
a memo explaining what just happened will incentivize them to observe it.
It
You're
would
not
be,
talking part-time firefighters. I mean, the number would be a lot larger than 18 if you were.
it's whoever has an email box. So like for example, the planning secretary has an email box on the town server.
Yeah,
That's one that is intermittent work, so it would have to obviously be scheduled. But I mean, it's just as important because
right.
anything that comes in, it's easy to do because these people aren't, you don't see the Nigerian print stuff anymore. They're more sophisticated, and they're able. In fact, if with Peterborough, they actually set it up to call to verify that this was the account to send the money to. But it wasn't. Peterborough didn't call the people. They called in to say, it's okay, this is the account to use. In other words, you should verify it, but they did it, and so and in Erie, they actually had a person walk down and hand it in. I think it was Erie, Colorado, where they handed the paperwork in, which you don't think that these foreign criminal organizations would do that, but they have people in the states that will do it for some money.
Money, yeah.
What if we used, instead of, trying to penalize our people for not completing this education, if we just gave them a drop dead deadline and turned off their email access if they didn't have it completed?
I think if we emphasize the importance of it, both Audrey and I think we can.
Yeah, we can
The
do it
memo,
in
we can-
steps. I
we
mean,
can-
the only reason I brought up the step increases is if there is resistance, then we need to have some clout.
I
But I think they can probably
I
get
think
everybody.
I think positively we can get it done. It just needs to. Everybody needs to know how important it is.
And give a couple pokes in the ribs.
Just reminders, gentle reminders. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should set a date of sometime around January 1st to make it.
I would think by the first of the year, they ought to be able to get it done. They can sit there and watch TikTok for hours or whatever, it's not that doesn't bother me. Maybe a little more editing.
And there is, beyond the PI secured, which is what this company that Lakes Region contracts with, we do have, Primex offers free training too on it, which also has bloodborne pathogens and some other things that we should be, at least with certain groups, be doing anyways. It's online, it's free, that's how I did the Peterborough one, is I logged in on my account through Primex and did that training, so. That's where we're at. It's probably the most pressing thing, I think. Making sure we're in compliance there.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions or comments for the chief this time?
No.
Chip?
I was just running through the numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I guess I'm good.
All right, thank you, chief.
We did do the, and put in the community police, we did Bears Bucks again. I don't know how much money we raised for the community, the Child Advocacy Center. But Halloween, we had about 85 trick-or-treaters come to the station. And drug take back, which we did at the end of the month there. We just got a notice today, it was 15.3 pounds that we took in.
Quite a bit of drugs.
Yeah, I was surprised though at some of the other numbers in the county. Some were less, and Wolfboro was less, but they have their own town drug thing that they do sometimes.
Oh.
But
I have no idea what Dominic did.
I don't know. I could look at it again and find out. I was surprised that one of the towns was blew me away, but they seem to do it every time they get a lot. So, well, great for them.
Good that they're giving them back.
Yep.
All right, thank you, chief. Next up, we have Parks and Rec. We got Director Dennis Zalumbo, and we have our chairman, Eileen Jones.
Hello, ladies.
Guys.
Still make that?
Once in a great while, yeah, one for something different.
A little odd, huh?
I'm a little odd.
Who said that?
I did.
I invited Eileen because there's something I think very important we want to talk about later, but I'll go through my report first, if you don't mind. Our commission meeting is tomorrow. You agree there, Bob? Yeah. We have a couple of guests
We have a
coming.
couple of guests. We've reached out to the Conservation Commission and to the Land Bank to talk about how we can collaborate. So both parties have said that they would come
4:30, right?
4:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here?
Here,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Dennis has a
Well,
commitment, maybe.
I got a program at 6 at the school, so,
Yeah.
anyway. The bike trail thing is kind of moving along. Andrew did meet with us. We walked the trail again. They're changing kind of the concept what we're dealing with, and it's more for youth. And there's pictures he sent that it's awesome. I mean, the area where they have their training is really good. So, as he puts it, no one wants to fund a 40-year-old guy that's really into the bikes, but they can fund kids, so. We did have through the land bank, they gave us a recommendation to contact the Fist Family Foundation, which we did. Had a great conversation. He's out in San Diego. He's here all summer. He comes up a couple times during the winter to ski. And as we started going through numbers and everything else, Joyce and I were on the phone with him, good half hour, and they've given $350,000 since 2020. A lot of local groups also. You go to the Nick, you can see their plaque up on the wall there. Anyway, long story short, he said, "It looks like to me you're going to need about 50,000." I says, "Well, yeah, we got some things planned." He said, "Well, I can't give you 50, but," he says, "it's not a board of directors, it's me and my wife." So we sent him all the stuff he needed. We're waiting to hear back on that. So I guess we got bad news from your trust. Yeah, you got a lot of pull there, do you?
There are only 3 of us.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
problem is you don't fall within the parameters of the trust. Not educational, not religious, not community service, which was more loaning money, so I couldn't get the other two to bend it.
To budge.
Yeah. It's all right, gotta try.
We'll keep trying out different things.
So we are putting a mass mailing together and see what that brings in. And bottom line is a warrant on the balance. So our goal is to start this spring. Just moving along. Men's basketball is slow, but it's growing every week. Dodgeball is going crazy. We had 3 big special events this past weekend. Not this weekend, the weekend before. We had punt, pass, and kick. We had some great individual. One kid threw it 48 yards. It's quite a throw.
Not bad.
Another kid ran the 40 and 4.9. That's pretty fast. And then one kid broad jumped 7.11. So we had 15 kids. I just got done doing the ribbons and stuff, and the winners. It's in Las Vegas. The end of. I'm not coming to you guys for money on that because I got a feeling a lot of them want to go. And to be honest with you, the punt, pass, and kick program has gone really downhill. For example, this year when I called them a week before, I says, I didn't get my box of footballs or tees or ribbons or certificates. Well, you're on your own. You know, you can get sponsors. So this was our last year doing it.
Well, I have to tell you, he is the only person
Oh, New
in
England.
contiguous New England. When you look on the website and you click on New Hampshire, Dennis Zalumbo and his phone number, there's nobody in Mass. There's few downstate New York, but nobody
Yeah.
in this
Maine
contiguous.
did it last year, but kids from Maine came down this year. So anyway, that was a good Saturday morning event. And then that night we had the dance party. And we had 35 kids up at the townhouse. It went really good. You know, we did the limbo, the freeze dance. You know, pass the rat, wrap the mummy. We had a DJ, best costume. So I got a feeling next year we're gonna probably move it to a bigger place because you get 35 people with parents and stuff. It's pretty crowded, but everyone had a good time. Parents made food and we had popcorn, and it was a good night. And then, of course, Halloween night we had the trunk or treat here. We had 6 carnival games. We only had 4 trunks, but one of the trunks again was Belknap. And did you see what they did?
No.
They had built this whole wall. It was the front of a cabin. They named it whatever cabin it was. Then from there they attached it to a truck, and it was actually a haunted house.
How cool.
And then they had this smoke machine where they had all the candy on this big whatever pot, and the smoke's coming out. And they were all there too. And got a chance to talk to Seth quite a bit. We are going to run programs with them. They're doing construction now. It won't be in the spring, but it'll be in the fall.
Yeah.
So we're going to meet in December with them and take advantage of their facilities and their staff. So we're happy about that. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it with that. I did get an email today from the school, and their central office is coming in and taking down that kind of a half oblong thing where I showed pictures of the rust and everything.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna take that down. They're taking the teeter-totter
In the
thing
playground.
down, and they're gonna replace all the wood chips. So that's on them. So we're happy
The
about
school's
that.
doing it? Or the
Schools, yeah,
school
no,
district?
School district, yeah.
Yeah,
So
cool.
we're happy with that. So I want to pass out, we did get a bill, Audrey gave me the bill from Wolfboro.
We have that in our correspondence.
Oh, you do?
Okay.
Yes, but it's just as well to have it right now.
Okay. You know, to me, Tufton Road, we voted against that Pop Whalen, and our kids still skate there.
So if I could just back up to what we did last year when we got their bill, we went through, or I went through, and we took each of those categories that are listed there, like the pop wall and skate, and I put the differential. There's a differential for residents and non-residents in most of the programs, and they're in this book that they pass out. So last year I took their book and I took their numbers, and that's how we ended up with that $8,000
Mhm.
number. We have eight we think is good for them, and 8 we put in abeyance for
Mhm.
ourselves. So this just came today, but I'm willing to do, I would call it a true up, go through, do the same thing so we know. And also I would maybe challenge a couple of these numbers, but let me
It's
true it up.
inflated. I mean, they got swim team, they called us to do the swim team, then they didn't have swim team. So they got down here swim team, but, I mean,
Well, the 23 kids from Hillsborough show up?
No, that's
No,
from
that's
Tuftonboro,
us.
this is
That's
23
said
kids
us.
from Tuftonboro.
I'm trying to justify the 23.
Right, what I'm saying, let me chew it up and then perhaps we should challenge some of these numbers because I'm looking at last year's. Yes, it was a tail end of a COVID situation and all of that. But if, with your permission, let me do the same kind of exhibit and get it back to you so that I could true up the numbers with the differentials. Some don't have any differential at all. And then there's other things that I guess they would say that, down the bottom where there's no quantification. I mean, we have a reciprocal, anybody can show up at our things too, so we,
I can list all our programs that what people come to. Everything from, yoga
Right,
to
so-
painting to ball and dancing.
No, I think it's important that you do that.
Yeah, let me chew it up and get it back through to you so you know the number, that kind of, to me, it's pay as you go.
Mhm.
I might challenge a couple of the numbers after I do it, or have you challenge a couple of the numbers after
And
that.
The sailboat sharing, I thought the sailboats are looking at us. Do they have sailboats now?
It's at our place, the
They're
sail.
not in Hillsborough.
No, well,
Oh, but then the sailing lessons are up above. I
Yeah.
thought they didn't have any sailboats. Anyhow, all right, let me
So
do
if
the
they-
chew
so
up
if they're-
first.
So if they're putting 9 down for sailing and they did, that just doesn't make sense.
Right, so let me chew it up the way they give it to us, and then perhaps we can challenge a couple of the numbers.
Or just, I mean, I think what you had done last time was the differential just makes them whole, basically. I mean, you
The
just-
differential makes them whole, they're not
Right.
losing any money,
Right.
right?
And I think that was somewhere around 8,000.
It was, yeah.
I mean, I think we need to at least do that, figure out what keeps them whole.
guys, I'm gonna tell you where I stand. I'm sick of the whole thing. I've had it. No, I've had it. I really have, with this whole mess. I wanna take care of Tuftonville. That's what I wanna do. I'd like to take 2, 3, 4 grand, put it in a little side account, get recommendations from guidance or teachers, that if we find out kids definitely need help, paying a fee, we'd take care of it. I would like to take the balance of that 16,000, throw it in my budget, let me buy more equipment, run more programs, or fix my maintenance people. Those kids that go to camp are still gonna go to their camp. Those kids that skate, they're still gonna skate. They ski, the same thing. We've been fighting this 4 years, there's been $8,000 sitting
Yeah,
there
just-
doing nothing.
I just don't wanna lose, and I'm with you on all of it, except for if a kid wants to go to day camp, are we still gonna get a different rate? for
You're gonna
those
get a
kids?
non-resident rate.
Okay, so we need to know what that.
Yeah,
rate is.
I'll do that, when I do this, I'll just give you the differential per,
Yeah,
And if we
It's-
head in the
it's-
direction that you want us to go in, are you guys prepared to manage it?
Yeah, I am, and the other fact is, we'd have to, budget time is now, that, whatever, 12 grand, or whatever we decide to take care of our kids with, the rest of it should go to our budget to let me fix things and buy things and run more programs, so, day I took this job, I was against it, and I'm totally against it now, especially after I see this stuff that's inflated, and all the local people that use our programs, we can't use their beaches, they're using our beaches. I think enough is enough. That's where I stand on the whole thing. I really do. I'm just.
they never responded to your letter
Nope.
last year
No.
about it.
Are
and-
when we charge for things like, I don't know, what.
Same price for everybody.
Same price for everybody, it doesn't matter where they come from.
No.
Okay.
I mean, our swim lessons, we don't charge a resident, non-resident anyhow, everybody, they could come from Ossipee and come
I
up
mean,
here.
when she put down swim team, she called us to ask for swim team
Right.
to do it there. Then finally she says, no, we're not gonna have it. but she listed,
But there might be swim lessons there, I don't know. It says swim lessons
why would
and
you-
swim
you know.
camp.
So you're, if something happens to this money and you decide that you want to subsidize Tuftonboro residents that use Wolfboro's programs,
right,
you gotta be prepared to manage that.
right.
Mhm.
But I mean, I would get to Katie at the school and let her staff know that if they for some reason think that this kid can't afford camp or whatever, to contact us, and we would take care of it. You know, I mean, it's just like I said at Pop Wheeler, our kids are still skating there, and Tuftonboro gave them 0. I find out the school department didn't pay their share, so the hockey team from the school, there's an open locker room, they won't let them use it. It's almost like they're holding them hostage.
No town in the district gave them the money they asked for.
Oh,
And then the school district couldn't give them anything because they didn't have anything to give them.
yeah, but they're holding it over their head, so the kids gotta lug all their stuff in,
Yeah.
hockey, and lug it back out, rather than have a locker.
Believe me, as a Kingston High School graduate of 1972, we rode home sweaty and nasty from a lot of events
Yeah.
because we didn't have a place to go to.
Yeah.
And we didn't die, and I'm still here to be a pain in everybody's butt. It doesn't kill those kids to ride 5 miles back to Kingswood to shower. However,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
don't
we
want to
just-
get into the way they wrote that warrant article, because that
So, I
was just
mean,
terrible.
basically what we said, what's the next step, as far as you guys are concerned?
Okay, well, the next step is to collate the bill.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like
And
to let
then,
Eileen do her
if we're
magic.
gonna, I know we had this conversation all the time. We can't take that $8,000 or $12,000 or $16,000 and just say, okay, whatever you need, we'll allocate it. It has to be in the
But it's budget time now, we can put that as a budget thing.
Well, you need to put a budget line item in there.
Yeah.
Your budget's already gone through, so now we gotta revisit that.
Right.
So we need to get a clear feeling about what direction we wanna go. It's not, I mean, this year, I think we had $8,400 in there. So we.
Yeah.
But Eileen,
Yes,
could you have this ready for next Monday's meeting?
again, it won't take me long at all.
That would be,
I
I
have
think
a-
that would be the best thing.
I have a
It's as
spreadsheet
fast
already
as we
from
can
the
move
last
and try to
time,
get something done. Yeah,
so I can plug in the numbers, and if I make an estimate, I'll tell you it's an
8173.
estimate.
right.
So
And if
eight-
I have a question mark, like, that sounds like a lot of, we only have we have less than 100 kids in our school, in Tuftonboro, 95 kids.
Really?
And granted, they can do multiple things, so, you know, they can
Sure.
ski and they can do something else and do
Right.
something else. But still, seems like a lot, some of the numbers. So yes, I'll have it, I'll get it back to Dennis and I'll get it to you for your agenda for next week.
Gives it to Audrey or comes in
Yeah.
either way, but
Yeah.
We're
as long as we
talking
can look at the numbers.
$8,173 is what we had in the budget.
Right.
So
Right, that was what
we
the,
wanna leave that, we need to,
I think the other one was called youth assistance, where the
Right.
other half of it went.
the other half,
Right.
yeah.
And you've only taken $200 out of that, we help somebody else.
But we still paid them the 16.
Last year.
Yeah,
I was last
even
year,
though
this is this
we
year.
figured out it was 8,000,
Right,
we still paid them their full amount.
They still want.
And gave them a letter to put them on notice that we're gonna be reviewing this again.
right.
Great.
okay.
So I'll get that back to you.
I, for one, really appreciate your efforts, Eileen.
No, it's,
We gotta get
And
something.
just make, go through the topic, or the, topics, and just make.
so Pop Wallen Daily Skater, so that's when you show up and you don't have a season
Yeah,
pass.
I have to go wait a second.
Oh,
I just make
oh, okay,
notes, like field hockey,
yep.
that's
They-
an intramural high school sport or.
No, this is learn to play field
Yeah.
hockey for the little kids.
Okay,
Two.
Granite State Track and Field,
Yeah, that's like the Hershey, it used to be Hershey Track and Field where the kids,
It's a one-day event, they
they
go.
run at the
Right.
track. But
So
some of
that-
them
you
don't
to
have any
pay to go
different,
into that?
yeah, but some don't have that one doesn't even have a differential.
Right, so I don't think it's,
So,
I think we gotta just
I'll go through,
concentrate on the ones we know exist.
okay. That's it for me. You're all set?
I'm all done, yeah.
All right. Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, next up, we have a budget to look at, or several, but one big one and a few less bulky ones that'll come up. Come right up, Steve Johnson.
Look how big that is.
do your report first?
What's that?
He's not here for his
Not
report.
here
Oh, you're not
for
here.
He's here to go over the budget.
Yeah.
You do the
Budgets.
ambulance, the ambulance.
I just can't figure out where my other ones
emergency
were.
management.
Feel free to start at any time. All right. Fellows, ask questions, do. There it is.
Let's just get ambulance out of the way first.
Yeah.
I'll give you email that we sent them in reference to the Mirror Lake Station.
Oh, yes, I was gonna ask about that.
Mirror Lake Station it would be better for us to tear it down and start over again
Oh.
than trying to retrofit it to fit them in the building as far as it goes. And it's still, it's still questionable whether or not that we need to put a sprinkler system in it. We were looking at the building as not necessarily a fire station, but as far as a residential, above the garage. And, but what the fire marshal's office said was to have a company come in, do a survey of the building to see what it would need as far as code wise, as far as put a plan together, and they would okay it or not okay it as far as that goes. So basically you have someone come in, say it needs this as far as it goes, and draw that code stuff up. And they could say, no, you need a sprinkler system and blah, blah, blah.
Carrie, do we have a pencil in your bucket over there? I appreciate that, thank you.
And I know that the last time that we went and looked at putting a second story on it, like a full second story besides what was there,
Mm-hmm.
we were told that the walls probably wouldn't support it, so that you would have to, start over type of thing. Input from Jack, the septic system is made for 40 hours a week type of thing, versus having crews sleeping there overnight,
Every day.
every day type of thing.
Is the septic system only on our property?
Yes. What the septic system that we have there, yes, it's on our property. It obviously was upgraded some time ago, but right now it's not big enough to sleep someone there as far as it goes. You get further into having to have a heating system separate from downstairs and separating, the sleeping quarters and the upstairs, and having to be able to go right out through, not coming down into the bays as far as the exit, in case there was a fire and stuff like that. You can go downstairs to get into your ambulance. However, there would have to be a door there that's rated. They would have to put in another layer of sheetrock underneath. So it
Now,
just
did that-
adds up as you.
Did that change, or is this some other code that we're looking at?
What do you mean? We've
Two
never.
layers of 5/8 sheetrock with metal lath in between.
Yes.
That's a 2-hour.
That's a 2-hour rating.
That's been code for
Yeah,
residential above garages now for a long time.
long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The metal, I know the 2 layers, the metal lath. I don't
It's
remember
been
that.
quite a while.
Really?
So, in my thought, as far as, then you get into the well is right there by the septic system, so they would have to have some type of portable water. We haven't tested that in a few years because we haven't been drinking it. We either do bottled water, but when we were there, we had a bubbler type of thing. Or, a system that obviously would, take care of anything that might be in that, so that would be fairly costly. So the answer back from them was that she would get back to Justin, who manages everything, and see where they're at.
Justin is with the ambulance service?
Yeah, Justin is the person that used to own Stewart's, 100%, but obviously now he just manages.
So we don't have a number from them?
Yes, yeah, this is just to show you what our answer was to them as far as it goes, but we definitely have a number right now as far as ambulance wise. I'm not sure if that would change at all as far as because of this whole them losing an ambulance in Moultonborough as far as being able to house one, but right now the number is $216,858.49.
Right, we have that number, but what's, if we were to build a facility for them, what will they pay them?
There's no answer with that.
So
They were waiting to hear from us as far as that goes, type of thing. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously there's quite a bit to that as far as any type of structure, as far as remodeling or building. And I mean, look at the police station.
How many bays do you have there? 3?
We have 3.
And how many would you give up for ambulance?
One.
Just one?
Yeah.
So 1 bay and a living quarter upstairs?
Yeah. But obviously they have to put in showers. They would need to have cooling upstairs. They need to have, if they were separating off the upstairs, they would need to have egress windows from each bedroom that they have there, and that would get into quite a bit as far as it goes. So that's why we said it's really not worth it for them to do that. But I wanted you to have a heads up on that information.
And how long are we looking at before they need a place to be housed?
This year.
This year.
Yeah, so they were gonna look at all their options to see where they're at. Obviously it's not feasible on our side, but they
Well,
were,
I mean, it could be if the return is right.
right,
I mean, you spend $400,000, but you offset $200,000 worth of expenses. Doesn't take long to pay back.
right.
That's what I'm looking at, so. I mean, tearing the whole building down for 1 bay would be better off just adding a bay.
Well, the whole bay thing is not the issue as far as,
It's the upstairs.
it's the upstairs.
Right, but that upstairs, the weight component, if you will, is gonna be the 2 bathrooms.
Right.
The
The
sleeping
bathroom
areas isn't a big deal.
Right.
I mean, I'm just thinking, we're spending $200,000 for ambulance service, is there any way to avoid that part of that cost? That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure we wouldn't be able to avoid the full cost because they're still charging for services.
Right.
Right,
And I know that Wolfborough's went up drastically just for 1 ambulance.
And you gotta figure
Wolfborough's
the-
gonna be covering them for this year,
Mm-hmm.
again, until they get whatever in place.
And I'm guessing that the only thing that they'd be able to take out of their budget request would be rent for where they're staying now.
Right.
All the other services
they have to
would be
go
the same.
somewhere, cause they can't go to Wolfboro,
Right.
so,
They're in the process of building a new building, right? So,
yeah, and Stewart's is not.
right,
I mean, they don't have the real estate, and they gotta have that before they build the building.
right.
So
So
what's in their budget for rent?
that's
That's what you
something
gotta
that we need to know as far as like, or if there's anything as far as it goes. So that we couldn't
Well, I mean,
really get an answer from that until we
If
found
Joe
out.
Smith from Moultonborough all of a sudden came up with a two-bay garage with an attached house, what are they willing to spend?
Right.
I mean, they have to have something in their budget for, well, what were they paying Wolfboro for rent? Anything?
No, there's nothing housed in Wolfboro, and Moultonborough wasn't charging them to house or have an ambulance there.
So they were getting free space in Moultonborough
As far
and
as I know.
free bedding as well?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't change.
Well, we don't,
That wouldn't change this
Right.
budget number then, if they're not paying anything out for rent or anything.
but maybe they're just reducing their price. I mean, well, maybe Moultonborough's got so much money they don't care.
And I could be speaking totally out of line, but I'm pretty sure that they were
Ask them if
charging.
they've got a budget.
Yeah.
Do you have a budget? and then see if that's something we can work with.
I mean, we housed a fire engine up at Winter Circle Farm for a number of years.
Yeah. And that they, that was free from the Trancheetahs. But when the ambulance company was housing, they were paying for a bay and the sleeping quarters.
Right.
Yeah, there was a lot of years that we housed it up there.
Yes.
Right now, I think that they're currently, you know, everything's rented out as far as the housing and stuff.
Yeah.
So for 2024, they're not gonna have a place to park.
They're not gonna have a place to park for one of their rigs in Multenborough. One of them's being kicked out. They'll have one there. They'll still have their two in Wolfboro that they own. You know, they currently own the building or whatever that is there. That's gonna be there. And then the rest of the rigs come from Meredith or, you know, I think they have a pretty large place in Tilton also.
So if we can't house them, how's this gonna affect your service?
That's the question.
Sounds to me like we might end up doing a lot more transports.
Right. So that's the question as far as, is it gonna affect the service as far as
Right.
being able to provide it like they were before? I'm hoping it's not going to, but you've got to expect that might be affected.
But if we pay this amount, we're expecting a certain level of service.
Yes, that's correct. We're expecting a ambulance with at least one EMTA and one EMT on it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
And if they can't provide that level of service that we're paying for, then we have a problem.
Yes.
And the contracted amount is $216,858.49.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve that budget for the ambulance service.
And I will,
I'll second for discussion, but I'm not prepared to vote on it yet. I'll tell you that.
Why is that?
Because if they're gonna be charging us $216,858 for a certain level of service, and they can't guarantee that they're gonna give us this level of service. I'm not hearing that they can guarantee us.
It's a contractual number.
How are they gonna do it?
That's not our problem. That they're contracted to give us that level of service for this amount of money. If they don't do it, then we've got a cause of action. If they
right.
do it, then we're fine.
And then in the contract, we had put, you know, if they don't sign on within a certain amount of time, you know, if it wasn't multiple calls that were going on in our town or whatever, or mutual aid issue type of thing, then I think it was like $1,000 for each time that they didn't provide the service.
That's our recourse.
Yeah.
And there's always the possibility of multiple accidents and things happening around and somebody can't get there. That could happen so easily.
Right.
Or a big occurrence.
Right, school bus really takes a bad one and you got 20 kids need to be transported. They can't do it all at once or whatever it may be.
We're
Yeah.
looking at making sure that we have one ambulance 24 hours a day,
Right.
365 days a year type of thing.
Best you can hope.
What's the out in this contract? Do we have an out for non-performance?
If I remember right, before it was a notification by a certain amount of days with that. If
Like a 30-day out?
yeah,
I mean, this is why we do it
30
annually,
or 60 days.
too,
Right,
because
circumstances change so fast.
if things change, we get to.
And in reality, they're asking for a 2.8% increase.
It's not much.
Well, that's what cost of living increase they did New Hampshire CPI, just like we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's not like they're trying to put it to us very hard on the money.
right.
It's the
No,
practical
what
fact.
are our options? I mean, we could put
Right.
it back out on the street, but we didn't have a lot of luck last
Right.
time.
No.
Well, that's the problem.
And we're running out of
Where
time too.
Wolfboro ran into, they put it out, and you know, one came back at $900 and something thousand, and then the other one came back at over $1 million. I think $1.4 million.
Are you comfortable with this? Are you recommending that we approve this?
I think that we can work with them and deal with that and not cost us a huge amount of money putting it back out as far as it goes. And if we have to, we'll cover what we have to cover and deal with any fines and things that need to be done with that. I think that they're looking at it and hearing everything that goes on in other areas. That's probably the best option that we have right now, because another company coming in, where are they going to house the equipment and people? It's going to be far more than that. That's not even, you figure that to have ambulance staff 24 hours a day in the fire service, you need 8 people. So you figure out what 8 people is when it comes down to it. The ambulance in today's day and age is upwards of $400,000. We have one. We would have to have a backup type of thing for when the other one breaks.
8 EMTs is probably close to $750,000.
Yeah, we did that. It's close to, when you get done as far as the personnel and doing all of the stuff, it's like just under 900,000.
And that is assuming you can get the people,
Yes,
which we know is a problem
right. Right
nationally.
now, it's nationally a problem. I think Miltonboro has finally got to the point that they've hired the people, starting in November at some point in time. I think like mid-November, they're gonna go 24-hour service as far as fire and EMS, but they're still not transporting. Stewart's does all the transport.
All right, motion was made and seconded. All in favor of approving this ambulance contract for $216,858.49, say aye. Aye.
And if anything changes, then obviously I'll be back to say, hey, no, this isn't good, and we need to look at whatever from there.
You wanna do emergency management?
Might as well get through the quick ones at this point. I say quick.
Fairly quick, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Low-hanging fruit. Operations.
Yeah,
Through the ceiling.
quadruple. What does
So, under operations, what was added to that, and I don't know, I think that you got this little thing, as far as it goes. The traffic signs that we have, if you wanna be able to access those traffic signs remotely, as far as by computer, either by us or by Chief Shigori or whoever, it's $2,570 for the contract per year for the 2 signs. So you divide that number in half, and that's what you get for each sign as far as.
Is there any other way to change that?
Yeah, you can change them manually as far as
You mean on the sign itself?
yeah,
Yeah.
as far as on the sign itself. So you open up the sign, you go in by computer and go from there. But if you want to be able to access them remotely, from whatever location, which we had for the first year, and then we found out that this is what the price is going to be, when it came down, then we started, once the contract ran out, we obviously started doing it remotely. But if Chief Shigori was using it for traffic-wise, he would be able to go in by Bluetooth or whatever and remotely change things around or gather information as far as speed
So-
wise and stuff like that.
In lieu of that, you have to go out there and what? Is there a keyboard on the sign, or how do you change it?
Yeah, so in lieu of that, you have them at the station and you go in by computer and change them up. But what this allows is, for example, if Chris was not in town that day or whoever wasn't in town, one of us, we could go in, from a different area, right from the station instead of going out to whatever location they were at and change the wording around.
So this is a convenience, not a necessity.
You could say that, yes. I mean, it makes things 100% simpler as far as changing lines, but otherwise, that's where that's at.
And there's no less expensive option? I mean, it just seems like on an annualized basis, it's like $200 a month,
Right,
and I don't think you'd probably change the signs more than,
right, whatever period of time.
yeah.
So that was put there, that's the explanation for it. There's nothing less or cheaper besides changing. I'm not saying that we can't do that, I'm just saying that is today's way as far as computer wise. So I'm not for or against that either way. The $800 operations under miscellaneous is what that was last year.
I'm gonna make a motion to reduce the operations line to $800.
$100?
$800.
Two 800,
To
so the
$800.
bottom line of the budget would be 19,710.
Well, if that's your math, I trust your math.
Nothing else has changed, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
I think it's been discussed, but as much as you can need to discuss it, if there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of reducing the operations line of the emergency management budget to reflect a total of $800?
Aye.
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 So that was $19,710.
Yeah, I guess I'll make the motion that we approve the budget for emergency management for a total of $19,710.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that does include the service on the Melvin when it
Generator.
gets to that point, as far as oil change and all that.
Good. Okay, now we're to the fire and rescue department. We can. Wow.
So there was two major things with that budget this year that changed. One obviously is that we would be paying for a full year as far as captain wise, where last year was only part of the year. And the other thing is that we went in again for $36,500 for nighttime coverage. Again this year, to see if that's something that may be feasible.
Is that your FD shift coverage line?
That would be the line that went up by
$40,000.
42,000? So this is to, say that again, give me your reason again.
So here's,
Shift coverage.
well, last year I came in and said, hey, we'd like to pay $50 a night for two people to cover at night, to make sure that we had at least 2 people that were coming out, you know, for calls and things
Right.
like that. And that was obviously cut out. We haven't seen any great increase as far as people coming out. So we're trying to look at that and try to figure out where we can make that better. You know,
Right, year to date right now, so this is as of November 6th, you've only spent $18,270. $19,274, okay? So short of 20 grand, and you've got 10 months out, so that's $2 grand a month, so let's say you got another $2 grand coming up, then now you're at 22. So you're underspending this budget currently.
so as far as what we ran into, as far as shift coverage, the paramedic that we normally have 2 days a week, as far as to cover, he dropped back to 1 day a week, and we didn't replace him yet, as far as that goes. So there's a little bit there that where
But he
dropped
was
back.
2 days a week,
He was doing 2 days a week.
so
as far
that's
as it goes.
reflected in the money that you've already spent this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he just recently, you know, started dropping back, so. We definitely would like to, we've had some people that expressed interest into, you know, obviously they have a full-time job, but they would like to, on the day off, they would like to come in and fill in wherever they could, for that, so. As you can see with nights and weekends, you've got a breakdown of what our participation is. And then the other is personnel response participation, with that.
We're still on that one line, shift coverage though, am I right?
Yeah.
Because your rate of travel right now is $23,668 for the year. So I'm gonna suggest to my brothers that maybe 45,000 would be a better number than 79,000.
Well, in the discussion of this, when we go to captain's overtime, we have, this is all anticipated, but you're anticipating 110 calls each for our captains.
And they've already surpassed that.
Yeah. How many of those 110 calls could fall into this nights and weekends arrangement? Some of them?
Well, some of the captains, obviously, I require that all of my officers, including myself, cover, and we go on a rotation, obviously right down through, cover a shift, so they stay in town for the whole weekend, unless they can find someone to fill in for their spot, you know, one of the other officers, but they don't get paid to do that. They only get paid if they come out on the call.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
So they get, so you have them in the station, but that's on their regular pay.
They're not in the station necessarily unless they want to be.
But they've agreed to
But
stay,
you're close enough to
essentially
the
stay in
state.
town
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got
on
it.
their regular salary, no additional.
Yeah, no, they just get paid when they come out for the call. So what would change there is that if Captain Pike or Captain Morgan decided to work, you know, take that day, one of the days or those days and work the weekend,
Right.
then we would, they would obviously have to take off, you know, another day during the week type of thing to try to keep them below 40 hours or not having a lot of overtime. What we've run into as far as what we have seen wise is that we don't have a tremendous amount of people to fill in for when someone wants to take a day off, type of thing. And obviously this budget for 2023 reflected us not having 2 full-time people to start with. So some things may be a little bit different in 2024, because it wasn't until after May 16th that we had
2 full-time captains.
2-time captains as far as it goes. The other thing is that both captains were in quite a few classes to make it better as far as when they go out for inspections and getting certifications
Sure.
for the town. So that took a lot of time, and I'm sure that you saw that as far as it goes. So
But you're still, I'm just looking at today's budget that we've got.
and I don't have
I'm sorry.
that information as far
I
as.
can, do you have one over?
Yeah, you can pick
Awesome.
one, it starts
Thank
from the
you.
previous page.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm not trying to
Yep. No.
play hide the ball.
Nope.
But if we look at full-time fire department officer salary, which I think is your captains,
The officers, or as far as it's
The
called
second-
salary, but that's their pay
the
for.
the
monthly.
second one, right?
That's your captains.
Yeah.
Okay, so currently, you're, I can do the math, I guess, I'll do it again, 9,637.
Mm-hmm.
You will spend theoretically, or pretty close to theoretically, $116,000 this year on that line.
Yes.
So even though your captains didn't come on until later, you haven't really pushed that line up. I know it got hit last year when the budget committee got a hold of what your plans were to have to.
The line was pushed to 150.
Right. So you have 100 and, well, no, it's 125,043 is what you've got on that line.
For 23.
For 23, but
23.
24, it's 157,
Right.
58.
Right, so you picked up another $22,000 to cover that captain's money.
Right.
So let's go back to shift coverage and training overtime calls.
Yep.
You know, the combination of those two is $100,000. Yeah, a little over 100,000. Going from 57, so that's where I'm concerned. I can personally accept 150 on the full-time line
Right,
because
because that's what it is as far as
that's
the-
what you're gonna end up
Okay.
needing, because you got the guy on all year.
Yeah.
But as far as the other two, the shift coverage hasn't changed and the overtime and training hasn't changed.
Right. So the overtime and training, as far as it goes,
Mm-hmm.
is specifically for the 2 captains if they go above and beyond the 40
Right.
hours a week.
Right,
Which they would if they attend the weekly fire meeting.
Yes. So they're teaching
I fully understand
the
your role.
weekly fire
Yes,
meetings as far
That's
as it
right
goes.
out of the.
Because it was questioned about, you know, why they had to, you know, why couldn't they take off another day or something along that lines.
Yeah.
Well, they can take off time, but I'm not gonna have the coverage.
Right, to throw
there.
the other way, but I'm aware that they're doing the training, and
Yep.
they are the trainers,
They are the trainers.
yes.
so, and I'll just keep pounding on this.
Yeah.
So you will, if your rate of travel remains the same, spend $22,000 on that line, which is budgeted for 20,719. So you're gonna overspend that line because of the change in personnel.
Right.
And all I'm saying is that I think 25.5 is fine, but I don't think the 79 is fine at all.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
just-
mean,
that's just
I'm leaving it to whatever coverage that you guys want.
Mhm.
We'll put it to that point. When I add up, obviously as far as the 36,500,
Mhm.
that's 2 people $50 a night, then obviously they get paid if they come out on the calls.
Right.
I can't guarantee that 2 people are even gonna sign up, so that money may be left there
Right.
at the end of the year, and we find that we have to look at a different way as far as, but there's not, the people are not knocking down the door, nationally, as far as to become volunteers and firemen and stuff like that.
But this is your approach
This is our approach.
to address a
We're
problem.
approaching it just like everywhere else is approaching it. We went to other places and said, what do you pay, at night and whatever. But I can't guarantee that that is going to do anything.
And you may not spend the money,
Right, it may not even get spent.
but you want to have it available if it need be. Knowing what you guys do there, I can support your cause and your reasoning. I don't like it,
Right,
but I can support it.
so, but, does that, then we would just go back and look at, future. How do we do it different from there if it doesn't work? And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be touch and go of whether or not it is, but. And that 36.5 is a big jump in the budget as far as it goes, and I understand that 100%. But if I didn't try to look at that, then I'm not doing my job.
You'd be remiss, I understand. And you could be sacrificing life safety.
Well, I don't think that's ever
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, the chief's gonna overspend a line before he lets somebody burn up in their house. I mean, or not get picked up by an ambulance. What we're looking at here is, what have you spent in the past? You've changed some personnel,
Right.
and now what are our expected expenses
Right.
for those personnel?
And we've never done, the only problem is we've never done a stipend at night.
Right,
So we don't know what
right.
it's going to do. And I do have a hard time as far as weekends getting, because I have some pay in the budget as far as to have someone on for the weekend and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's tough to get people to do that, but the money is there, if that's the case.
But the way you're doing it now, they don't get paid unless they actually respond.
As far as the officers, but if I had someone in the station, they were in the station, they were answering the phones, they were doing whatever, giving out permits and things like that, then that would be there. But the officers wise, no, they do not get paid.
And what you're proposing here is gonna guarantee that you have officer coverage
No, not necessarily officer wise.
above and beyond, because you're gonna have bodies
If an
available.
officer signed up,
Mhm.
then they would get that as far as it goes. The one person, Skip Galvin, who's a paramedic, he would probably be not signing up for that because he's in the category as far as state-wise.
Can only work so many hours.
That would be considered hours towards
Yeah.
that as far as it goes. So right now, he has 32 hours that he can work as far as that goes. I wouldn't be part of it. Obviously, the captains could do that as far as, and any other people that are EMS and fire certified.
But right now, I mean, just to back up a bit, you should end the year having spent about $570,000. And you had a $621,000 budget. So there's a certain amount of, obviously good management, but a certain amount of fluff
Right.
in case something needs to
Goes
happen,
over.
or if some event happens that requires more capital.
And we, obviously, as far as, we're overspent on the, vehicle maintenance. And I was expecting that to be far more than
We
what it
worked out on
was.
that.
And that might
But the
be-
year's not over either, so.
Right.
True.
So,
And we may wanna, and this is totally off topic, or not totally off, but it's we may wanna start something like we have with the, police cruiser
Mm-hmm,
for the fire department.
right.
So we don't, so we have a little pot of money there in case he runs into another
Sure.
engine rebuild or
Makes
whatever.
perfect
Well,
sense.
my thought was that, so you have the $5,000 that is there.
Our vacation fund.
Yeah, your vacation fund. You know, obviously, it was January, and I came in and said, hey, this has died from something, you're like, it's too early
Mhm.
for that.
Or too late, actually.
Well, no,
Because
no.
it was after the first of the year.
Yeah, it was after the first of the year,
Yeah.
but,
But before the
but
budget
it
passed.
was in the, it was in the new year.
Right.
And so I'm like, what good is the money there for if it can't be used? And I don't know if it ever gets used as far as that goes. It must at some
Only-
point in time.
Well, if it was budgeted the year before, and we could just, before town meeting, between January 1st and town meeting, we can spend an equal amount, right? Am I right? If we budget $5,000 the previous year,
You could spend.
we can
up to
carry
$5,000.
over until town meeting.
No.
Not carry over old money, I'm just
We
saying.
can carry over old money, or we can create new money.
But is that a warrant article?
It is.
every
And-
year?
And maybe what we should think about is rewording the warrant article, to have it just sit there. You know,
Revolving.
be a recurring,
Yeah, well, I'm also in
yeah.
favor of rewording the
Right.
article to increase the amount by
Right.
10 times, and the budget committee members are looking at that as well.
An unexpiring,
Yes,
Yeah, because that's the toughest
Okay.
thing. I mean,
non-lapsing kind of.
nothing is $5,000.
No,
no, $5,000 is kind of a ridiculous amount, but,
But it's
It's foot in the
a
door.
place marker.
right.
right.
For that. At
Okay.
least I haven't seen anything on my side of things that was that cheap, but.
Can we go back to shift coverage? Are you gonna make a motion to reduce
I am,
shift
actually,
coverage to a number?
if you wouldn't mind.
Please.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to reduce the shift coverage number to $45,000, which gives us a total budget of $679,766.
I'll second that. Any further discussion on that?
What was that again?
679,766 is what I come up with, but that's what we have Audrey for.
Any further discussion on that particular aspect of it? There are other things that need to be discussed.
Mhm.
We're talking about just shift coverage at this point. No further discussion, I'll call for a vote. Those in favor of reducing shift coverage to $45,000? Aye.
Aye,
Against?
Aye.
so we're gonna two.
Nay. No.
Nay, No.
Okay. So now we have other things that are going on. We go to full-time fire department officer's salary. According to my figures, you have recommended step increases for your two captains, as well as the 3% cost of living. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
And I turned in their performance reviews, which I feel have supported as far as
Yeah.
the increase with
Okay.
that.
That was gonna be my next question. You've turned it. Beautiful. Just what we asked for.
Um,
Most everything else, generally here, when it comes to allowances and whatever, is the 3%.
Yeah.
And
So-
there's some up and downs here.
Vehicle maintenance,
Yep.
That's above apparatus,
it's
Yeah.
the one above apparatus.
Yeah,
We found some items with the apparatus that, when they went through their maintenance stuff, that need to be addressed in the coming year. However, it didn't affect their inspection as far as it goes, but, so those increased in that I found that obviously there was an increase as far as the cost, as far as the maintenance per year. A lot of different companies are going up in their fee as far as what they're charging, so.
so if you take what he's spent this year on vehicle maintenance and run it out to the end of the year, I don't think it won't be that bad, but it should be $57,654, so a $50,000 ask, I think, is appropriate to what he's been doing.
Yeah, I don't see any problems with that. And once again, no one can predict what might happen. So.
Correct.
the apparatus expense is doubled.
Okay, as far as apparatus expense,
Mhm.
I was looking for an area, I didn't know what the best area to put it was. The state has approved us to be able to use nitrous as far as
Nice, like a
pain
dead
control?
concert.
Mhm.
And to be able to deliver that, we need a field unit that's $4,100. We've always had the nitrous cylinder bottles and stuff in the budget because it was like 3 years ago that we were looking to incorporate this.
Mhm.
And all along, you know, as far as Huggins Hospital, there was resistance to be able to do it. So the money came out 1 year and we just left it out. And it's back now because we have the okay from the hospital, we have the okay from our medical control to be able to deliver that. So basically, we're able to, so someone broke a leg or something out in the middle of the woods, we can give them that pain control without having to have a paramedic there so that we can more easily.
Right, no injections, no possibility of any infection that way.
Yep.
Very good, yeah, makes sense.
So that's
So
the
it's-
$4,100 difference.
Okay, the $4,100.
Narcotics.
I'm sorry.
And no narcotics.
Correct.
Well,
Well,
felt like a narcotic when I was at that dead concert. So this is not one machine, it's the whole comprehensive program, is that what you're
no,
saying?
it's one unit to be able
Okay.
to deliver that. It has oxygen and nitrous that mixes in that. And it would be carried obviously on our ambulance when it goes out to
So this is gonna, we're gonna buy this in '24.
Yep.
And then we're gonna own it, how long is it gonna last?
I didn't see a time period on, usually like 7-10 years. Or,
Okay. So now we're gonna take that out for the next 10 years and put it back in. I'm wondering if we shouldn't be considering a warrant article on this. Just a thought. Cause it's not gonna be an ongoing expense.
correct.
It's a one-time.
It's 1 year,
It's
occurrence.
$4,100.
I didn't know where it would fit the best.
New equipment.
You know, if I put it into if I put into new equipment or if I put it into first responder, which we buy the EMS equipment, it's
Right.
EMS equipment, it put all the budgets like way over. So I put it there where we have the cylinders and stuff. on
But
the-
apparatus expense is usually meant for apparatus repair, correct?
Not necessarily. So under apparatus expenses, we have turnout gear repair, Marion Graves for large oxygen bottle leasing,
All in.
large bottle replacement, that's oxygen, small oxygen cylinder
Yeah, but this
exchange.
is all maintenance stuff.
It's all to do with basically as far as a maintenance thing, small items or oxygen
Annual updates.
annual stuff.
I would put it under new equipment.
I mean, I
It's
can,
not gonna change the bottom line.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's just a shuffling the way you wanna put it.
Well, it would make, I would agree with you, because it would make the apparatus line more consistent year to year.
correct.
So,
So I can move that.
Okay, so let Chip run his calculator, we'll put the new numbers in for
how
our
much
benefit.
was it? 4,100?
4,100.
So that would make the
4777.
46,028, so I got for the vehicle, or for the,
Apparatus
I'm
expense?
sorry, I'm
8877 minus 4100 is 4777.
And then,
I didn't need a calculator to do that.
I know all I did because I was using the vehicle maintenance line.
So that's now going into new equipment.
So it's 41,411. 411. So the bottom line stays the same.
Right. Just think, you get to go through all this again with the budget committee, won't that be fun?
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Not for a couple of weeks.
You live for it, I know.
every day. But hopefully the system is getting,
I'm seeing things that I like, yeah.
we tried to change some wording as far as that, made people nervous as far as like salaries, where people weren't, the full-time officers weren't salary. That's why we changed that as far as it goes, but. And should be reduced.
So the bottom line is still at 679,766.
Right, and that drops the rate of increase from 13% to 9%, which I think is a lot more livable.
I'll move 679,766 as amended.
I'll second.
All right, before I call for a vote, I'm gonna recuse myself from this vote. I'm not gonna vote a family member a raise. I realize there's a degree of separation between being an immediate family member, but I'm not comfortable doing that. So I'm going to recuse myself.
You won't vote us a raise, so you shouldn't vote giving us a raise.
There you go. However, the motion's been made and seconded, the budget's been discussed. All those in favor?
Aye.
I recuse myself.
Yeah, Audrey will go through these before we get them submitted to the budget committee anyway.
So, apparatus, it was down to 4777?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
We just moved that
To the
nitrogen.
new equipment.
Yeah, that was the easy one.
Yes.
I liked the presentation this year, better than previous years. It's a lot easier to understand. I think the budget committee will appreciate it too.
As far as, when it comes to the generator at the Mirror Lake Station, as it was a warrant article last year, we're looking at trying to get the bids and stuff as far as the cost for that. The other item, the large item that we have is our engine 4 replacement, which obviously is 2 years out
Right.
to be replaced. So we would have to start this year to be able to get it in 2 years as far as it goes.
And you're looking at about $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
And we get 2 years to save for it.
Yeah.
Well,
So, well, yeah, unless you look at it as far as like we have been lease purchasing in the past. I don't know what your feelings are.
And at
with
town
that.
meeting, we had 2 warrant articles, and we actually ended up eliminating one of them and just calling it Fire Engine Capital Reserve.
Yep.
And we only put 50,000 in, but we have a reserve fund that we can put money in. I, for example, going through it, would put 100,000 in this year, but we'll talk about that later.
If we have to order, so 2 things we'll need. One is, how much money do they need in 2024 to build this thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are our options for paying for it? So we can at least look at a lease purchase,
Mm-hmm.
or we can look at a gross warrant article. But I don't think we're gonna need all $1 million of it in 2024.
That'd be more than we need.
Right. Yeah, because I know that in the past, we have looked at as far as paying for whatever up front, in getting a reduction, you know, so like we own the chassis
Right.
type of thing. The issue that I saw with the whole thing, and we're still trying to get the idea, they're saying that one of the companies that we were looking at, they were saying that if there wasn't a engine for the vehicle available from 2024, that there was going to be an increase in the end user is responsible for that. I haven't seen what that new engine, not the truck itself, but the new engine that goes in it, what the extra amount is.
So they need
In
to,
the past, I've heard, like $100,000 and things like that that's been passed on to that. So
Well,
I'm wondering what that is. So that's
I'm wondering if anybody can tell you what it is that far in the future even.
correct.
Cool.
So when it comes down to actually
We can do.
making a deal with the truck,
Mm.
look at what Wolfboro went through with the ladder truck, and it just kept coming back. I don't know if you look at if you lease purchasing, you look at like 1.2 type of thing, and if the truck costs $900,000, then the other half of it doesn't get used type of thing, but you don't have to come back to the people again to come up with whatever
Right.
amount of money, because something was unforeseen
Well,
in the build.
it'd be nice in 2024 to figure out what they want for a down payment,
Yeah,
and we'll just go for that. And I'm sure between then and the end of 24, they'll figure out how much they want to charge us.
That's about all you can do, right?
Yeah.
some places are more than 2 years out, so it's amazing. I don't know how can you
Well, unless
budget for that?
I don't know.
Unless it's changed significantly, the lease isn't gonna get created until you have the
Oh,
final
no,
number.
that is correct,
So,
yes.
It isn't-
And I know that in the past, the budget committee has talked about not lease purchase, but I think in this time period, we have to at least look at that as far as it
Yeah.
goes.
We've always had an escape clause,
Yes,
in
Yeah.
case we get a
If you
lemon.
don't make the payments, they
that's
take it
correct.
back.
They take it back.
Yeah, and that's one of the
But we
things.
can also prepay the lease
Yes.
Right.
during the lease
The,
period.
what could happen from what I've looked at, we've always paid one payment ahead, so we've always been one year ahead of, everything in the long run,
Mhm.
which has worked out well, as far as our trucks and stuff like that, but, I don't know in today's day and age if a new truck will last 20 years, with the computer stuff and emissions and
Well,
things
we're
like
not
that.
looking for a 20-year lease, I would think.
No, what I'm saying is, our Class A engines are, when we go into capital improvement, we're saying they're gonna last 20 years.
Everything used to be analog and mechanical.
Yes. Now,
Cables, and now it's all fly-by-wire, computers.
now we could lose a certain part that they can't replace, and your truck is useless,
Dependent on technology.
depending on technology. So
Scary.
that's
Scary
everything that we
place to
get to
be.
look forward to
Well,
in the future.
We have another budget here,
Which one?
municipal buildings, and
Yes.
anything to do with the fire prevention has been filled in. So if we have any questions for the chief on that, I think probably you gave them the information for that, you gave Robbie that
As
information.
far
Yeah.
as municipal.
So this is pretty, I noticed that fire station improvements are down a
Yes.
lot.
So,
Oh,
government buildings?
no, I don't
Heats
wanna-
up.
But do you have something else on the?
On the general budget, you feel your fuel budget is gonna go down by $4,000 or $3,000?
Well, the police department's taking up a bigger percentage
Okay,
of that.
Yes.
all right.
I can't tell you
No.
that as far as the diesel's not gonna go up or whatever,
Right.
but we used to pay 50-something percent, or all close to 50% of that, and we didn't use the,
Okay, so that's more equitably divided.
yes,
You don't know how many times a truck's gonna roll either.
right.
Burn up
So,
fuel.
so the diesel part, is, a lot of it's an estimate, as you would see on the packet that I gave you. But as far as, I'm hoping that the prices don't go through the roof and that bite me in the long run, but I tried to look at what we had left and what we were using, and, it looked like there was quite a bit of money left there.
I see your heat's going up in the old stations. Melvin Village, Mirror Lake. But it's actually gone down by $42 oh, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong line.
Melvin.
Yeah,
I like this.
I was looking at the wrong line.
This package has got everything in it you wanna know.
It's back here.
Yeah. This is the real deal here, for all your buildings.
So heat, as far as Melvin Station, where it says $4,800,
Yeah.
it was 4,000 last year. I put another 800 into it because we have that generator with the propane there. I have no place to just put propane unless I put it under emergency management or something like that. So I put it there because the company that provides us the oil also provides us the propane. So.
This is the very last page.
It's always the last page, okay? Then it'll be the
Yeah, I
first.
think that actually went down.
Maybe it ain't the next to last page.
Next.
It's there.
We're looking for something, you always find it in the last place.
Imagine that.
Never the
Does
first.
that say Mirror Lake, Melvin Road Station?
No, back to the-
So you're, are we going line by line? How are we doing this?
I don't know, mine's on next to last page.
The fire
Yeah.
station maintenance.
It is on the last page.
I'm in the wrong,
Oh, that, go to the very last
I'm in the
page
wrong booklet.
of general government, there you go.
There we go.
So we haven't spent that much money on fire station maintenance.
I still have some stuff to do
Okay.
as far as it goes. As far as heat, it looks like budget request in 2023 was 5,000
Right.
for Mirror Lake and 4,000 for Melvin Village. So I reduced the
$200 net.
Mirror Lake
positive.
by to 4,000 and raised Melvin, which reduced that's why it's in green.
We don't get ours in color.
I accidentally printed them in black and white.
And there's no
I tried to read that number.
that's
That's
tough.
I know.
So I'll know for future to use a brighter color as far as that goes. I run into that with the red if you
That wasn't you.
yeah
No, we will, in the future, we'll have them in color.
and actually I do have some
We're all
if you
set.
need them.
That's, but I do, again, I'm complimenting on you the way you're presenting this year. It's much easier to deal with. That's really good.
Yes, as far as fire station improvements for the Mirror Lake, that's down to $4,000.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same stuff that we just haven't been able to find someone to take care of the issues that we have going on. There was probably some further items that we could have done, but I just ran out of time to come up with that stuff right now. Central, I think that you probably will find as far as electric probably has gone up a little bit, and maintenance went up for the Melvin and Mirror Lake Station by $265, and that $265 was pumping the septic system at one of those stations as far as it goes. Electric for Central has gone up to $16,975. The estimate for the station was $16,900 last year, and I think that we're probably on track to be right in there as far as it goes. We try to
You're at $13,000 right now.
yeah.
So you got 26, so you're at 15.6.
Depending on how the November, December come in, and
Right. And the maintenance,
For Central.
yeah, what's on the list there?
So as far as maintenance wise, the trash pickup went up by $100. The alarm
How much
monitoring,
is the trash pickup annually?
800, it went up to 9.
Okay, I'm sorry. Finish.
As far as station cleaning, 3 hours, the rate went up to $25. So there was a slight change there, times 26 hours. And then annual sprinkler testing and pump flow testing. We have our 5-year internal inspection, where they actually gotta take the piping and stuff apart. That's at $4,000, where it would normally be like $450 for them to come in.
Yeah.
They're actually coming in, taking the piping apart and going through that, so that's a big increase with that, but that's every 5 years that we look at.
Is that all done in ductile iron?
What's that?
Is that all done in ductile iron with red clay?
The sprinkler pipes?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Well,
It's not ductile iron.
it's black iron.
Schedule 10 probably.
And there are some red clamps in different areas.
Metallic companies.
Metallic, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
Thought the main line would be ductile, but it isn't. Okay.
Fire station improvements.
I tried to understand this pipe from welding the grooves.
Alright.
Furnace and AC maintenance and repair, that's a big one.
Yeah, and we seem to, and the question was that, from yourself as far as like Brookside. So yes, we have the E&E company that deals specifically with the burners, and they seem to be the company that's been able to keep those burners running as far as it goes. When it comes to the circulator pumps and stuff like that, we don't necessarily always go with them as far as E&E, because they charge us so much money to travel from Manchester or wherever it is. So there's like $300 or $400 as far as travel. So a local company, we call them up, we don't get charged. At least we haven't been charged, I don't believe, that from what I've seen as far as the travel distances and stuff like that. They may be a little bit high in their fees as far as hourly, but they've been pretty decent to us as far as that goes. And they've always come out in an emergency to take care of those. So we try to use local people as much as we can. But as far as the maintenance on those particular burners at Central Station, we've stayed with E&E because they've been the company that has got them running for us, and
They're the ones that figured it out.
yeah, they figured it out. Plus, they also they maintenance annually as far as our system upstairs, as far as the air.
Yep, HVAC.
So that's the answer.
Controls,
for
then
that.
controls.
And we do have a contract with E&E for all of that. Obviously, they go in, they put the controls in, or it was a different name at the point in time, but they put the controls in the building
I'm
originally.
very familiar with E&E.
So this project is obviously not complete, we only have Chief Thompson. Do we want to vote to approve Chief Thompson's portion of this, or do we need to?
I don't know that we need to.
All right, we've got good explanations, nobody has any real problems with this, so as we fill this in, when we finally get it complete, we can vote for that.
Once I read the right column.
It does help,
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm usually the guilty one.
And if you have further questions about any of the lines, by all means, I'll be more than glad to come back in.
I wish everybody put their budgets together like you do.
So,
Well,
it's been easier to be able to show you whatever we can than to,
I must
Have
say
questions
that
down the line.
Chief Thompson has had some help with this cover sheet. You might notice at the bottom it says reviewed by Effingham Board of Selectmen. I'm sure they approved our budgets, no problem. They thought we did a good job. But between our town administrator and And this really came out nice, I don't know.
Next revision, it'll say Tufton Borough, right?
Well, that's not my,
Oh,
this is not my paperwork.
I know that, that's why I was just trying to. Great. All right, I think we can allow Chief Johnson to go home,
Thank you, Chief.
update his
Thank you very much.
Facebook profile or whatever you want, have supper maybe.
Not drastically into Facebook.
Oh, good.
We've got
You
a,
better,
Terrible place to be.
right,
there's a budget meeting tomorrow night. I'm gonna
There is?
just share
No, there
that.
isn't.
it's on the 14th.
Oh, is it, I thought it was tomorrow night.
No.
Oh, I can do a
14th.
CIP, no problem.
CIP's Wednesday.
That's fine, I just don't like 3 in a row. Grandpa gets
Oh.
grumpy.
I get to do agriculture and
But I'll share this with
cemetery
Chair.
tomorrow night.
the labor breakdown.
Yeah.
So it's, we don't have to spend till midnight on your.
Like we
dime.
did before?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was,
Awesome.
all right. Thank you,
very
Chief.
much.
Moving on, we come to the signature file.
I think we changed that.
First up, we have, at the back of this sheaf of papers, we have a permit to cut timber in one thing or another. And then now we have several papers that we need to sign to reassure that the landowner is gonna pay the timber tax. And there's at least 3 signatures on here. Do you wanna look this over before we make a motion to sign it?
Has the landowner not paid timber tax?
Uh,
It's for doomage.
Doomage.
Oh, it's doomage.
Doomage is on.
It's doomage.
Yes.
Do
Do you wish to look this all over before we go through it?
that.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we sign this, each of us, 4 times.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. It really is 4 times.
Yes. I don't make this stuff up.
It wasn't an apocryphal statement.
It's apocryphal, for sure. Maybe worse. It's gloom and doomage. And multiple letters that have to go to the landowner, etc. I'll let you guys take a minute. What's gonna be coming up next is a notice of award for the work to be done at Union Wharf Road. That's 1 signature.
Well, I'll make a motion that we have the chair sign it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And maybe we can get some idea from our engineer when that project might start.
I thought we had a schedule.
Yeah, I think so too.
Did we?
She emailed out a schedule.
I,
Oh, that's
I
right.
email things. That's right,
I need to
Chip.
print it. Jesus. I just want to guarantee for you that I am not gonna change. So,
After that, we have
I
the
wouldn't want you to
renewal of our contract with Civic Plus, which is our web page people. They're gonna go up on their price a little bit.
you don't have a contract with them?
Yeah, this is it.
This is
So
the annual
it's a-
Annual
recurring
services.
service.
The price is gonna go up
by-
from $23.10 to $25.41, effective on our next renewal in January. The current amount that we're supposed to pay them is $2,891.
Have we budgeted for that?
We haven't done that budget yet.
We haven't
Okay.
done that budget yet. But if we wanna keep our website going the way it is, we gotta sign this one.
Yep.
So I would make a motion to sign this by me, because it's only a 1-person signature.
I'll second for discussion.
Let's discuss.
Are we keeping them? Keeping that website? Are we gonna be doing any revamping or
I'd recommend keeping them for a year, or at least 1 more year. I
why?
don't know. I only know one other that's out there and you would be paying that amount to convert. so until we do more research.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Put this away. Oh, excuse me.
The time change.
I know. It's just crazy. That dog gets me up at 4 o'clock.
I really haven't felt any effects of it.
Me neither. I still got the same amount of hours of sleep last night as I got every other night.
I get my 4 to 5 every night. no
Yeah.
matter what.
It's all in
Okay.
your mind.
Action items are next on the agenda. Okay, we have a letter here from the Lakes Region Planning Commission about their household hazardous waste collection programs, and we have a note from our town administrator, should we proceed with a letter of commitment? What the Lakes Region Planning Commission wants us to contribute to this is $5,560.
In addition to our dues,
Yes,
okay, so it's an additional
yes,
cost.
definitely. And they have sent a sample letter, which needs to be transferred onto a town letterhead and authorized signature. I believe we could authorize our administrative assistant to sign that. Doesn't say it has to be anyone other than authorized signature. However, if she wants to put this on a letterhead and we decide we're gonna give them that money, I'll be glad to sign it, it's not a big deal. One signature.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll take a motion to send a letter of commitment for this amount of money, and I'll sign it when it becomes on a town letterhead.
Where did the $5,000 come from? I mean, they calculated. it-
I would rather you read through this yourself, to be honest with you, I think it would explain it better.
All right.
This year's budget's 4,300, and they're gonna be here next week at your meeting to talk about the hazardous waste. So
Which would actually work out well
we
to
could
get
have
that.
a letter ready, and then you'd
Okay,
also
well,
have a
I-
chance for discussion.
Table that till next week.
All right,
I mean, I would type the letter up, I suppose.
yes, we'll have it ready to go,
Yeah.
if that's the case. All in favor? Aye. Audrey,
Perfect.
I'm gonna hand that to you. Thank you. We have a letter from Lawrence Gill, who's explaining to us that the boat launch at Mirror Lake has suffered terribly with erosion problems on the side of the paved areas. There's some pictures there. And he recommends putting in similar materials that were there before to repair that. We could speak to the road agent about it.
That's a boat ramp that we maintain?
Yes,
Just
it is ours.
I'm good.
It is the official launching area of Mirror Lake. And then we have the letter from Wolfboro Parks and Rec, which we're gonna have Eileen Gill work on. We've all seen it.
Right.
Correspondence would be up next. We have the library's monthly report. We have a notice from the Board of Adjustment that on the 25th of November at 7 p.m., right here in this office, they're going to be continuing a review of the bachelor family request, and they're going to work with whoever Ember Escapes LLC, asking for a special exception concerning Article 3, Section 6.B.1 of the zoning ordinance. Proposes to rent 3 existing buildings for events with 10 existing bedrooms. The area is zoned for 8 bedrooms at a property located at 48 Canyon Valley Road in the low-density residential zone. So there'll be a hearing about that. Chief Shiguri has announced that he has withdrawn the conditional offer to an applicant for a full-time position, and has reached out to another applicant that came in later, but he has not responded. We have certificates of completion for radio interoperability for Chief Shiguri. We have course completion for the prioritizing mental health, wellness, and resilience. And we have a list of, this is for radios, mobile data terminal rather. Life cycle of 5 years. This is presented to CIP, and it's basically a schedule of when he thought radios ought to be replaced. It goes anywhere from 2025 right up to 2041. It also has a vehicle schedule. Doesn't really, gives a lot of information basically is what it does. Doesn't actually say when he wants to replace another. And then we have a letter from Phil Bennett, Albert Architects, I believe we've all read it, addressing our questions we might have had for him last week on our police station. And we have a standard dredge and fill wetlands permit. This is to put a dock in place on Cow Island. It's been through the state, our Conservation Commission. This one's fairly straightforward. No real issues with it. And now we're into town administrators and selectmen's update. Oh boy. Let's start with our town administrator. Ladies before gentlemen. Hello.
Hi there.
I met with the treasurer on Friday. Jack and I had a great meeting, and one of the things that the Board of Selectmen are required to do, which the town doesn't have, is to have an investment policy that you review annually.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna draft it. I started today, and I'll pass it by him, and then you guys will know where everything is. And go ahead.
Just if I may.
Mhm.
Since the trustees of the trust funds basically are dealing with our invested, they're not.
Not the operating money, not your unassigned fund balance. They have
Oh,
their
but
own.
that money, okay.
Yeah,
That clears it up for me, thank you.
yeah. And we went over all the different accounts, and I have access now to view them and be able to print out statements. So people who are in charge of the revolving accounts, I can give them at least quarterly statements, because now they only get them when they're asked. I have a discomfort of the treasurer's things being in this room and the checks being left on the table. I came in last week, for example, and conservation was using their computer. I was like, oh, but there's things that are left in that cubby up there and on the table that really shouldn't be open to the public. Can we put the treasurer up on the other side of recreation, up in that space?
Well, that's open to the general public, where this is a little bit more restricted.
Well, my concern with putting anything up there is that it's not ADA compliant. And the more we put up there, the less ADA compliant we are. Although, why anyone needs to go there, I don't know. It's very odd.
So
Wait,
who
Is
was
there any
in
place
here?
over here?
Well, that's conservation,
And code?
yeah.
Cemeteries sometimes, they have been meeting here, but usually, well, when I was there for 6 years, we met in the other room. Now they've moved out
So
here.
when does Jack come in?
Sundays.
It depends, you know,
Sunday.
between Friday and Sunday. But he says it's uncomfortable working in this room if there's a meeting going on. He's experienced that a few
Well, of course,
times.
yeah.
But I think at a minimum, if he's in this area, he should have a locked file cabinet. So mostly it would affect when you come and sign the checks, they might be in a different place.
Well, it's okay, as long as we
As long as there's somebody here that knows where they are.
Yeah, but most of you come in when we're here, so.
Yeah, well, I don't. I come in Thursday afternoons usually, and I have to
Right.
let myself in and let myself out. I don't care as long as I have access to them. I don't care where they are, as long as I have
If
access
it's
to
in a
them.
locked cabinet, he's gonna be able to get into that cabinet as well as the building.
Right, but, Bob has access to our area, so
Your, where, the offices?
No.
There?
when you come in through the alarm,
Yeah, I have access to the lobby, I have access to there, and I can get to here.
Yeah, so even if they're in that area, that makes me feel more comfortable than them being in here,
Oh,
where you have zoning, planning, conservation.
So on Thursday afternoon, you don't mind if I pick them up off that area and bring them out here and sit down and
No,
put them
you
back?
can sit where you like, yeah.
Works for me.
as long as
So
we
is
put it
there,
back.
is there a lot, you're talking about this desk here?
In that room.
Well, a space, that
Okay.
area, yeah.
So is there a lock somewhere on that desk or no?
Because
For the-
that's Susan's desk, there's no,
Susan's
No, it
desk?
wouldn't be on that desk, but
So
we
you
would,
need
we
this.
would find a space.
Do you need a lateral file cabinet or a tall file cabinet?
For Jack,
Yeah,
it depends where we can fit it. So,
because I can probably come up with a file
Yeah.
cabinet no charge.
he and I talked about another cabinet like that, 2-drawer. That's all he needs, and if it locks, he just needs a 2-drawer cabinet.
It says treasurer's file, suppose, why don't we just use that?
It's not locked.
It has a locking thing.
And it's also not large enough, so he needs 2 full drawers. The assessor uses a top drawer.
So,
And so it could all go over there where those 2022 boxes are. Those
Exactly.
those could go downstairs into
Yes.
the
Yeah.
into the downstairs hall, right?
And if there's a desk you could share or use out there, it might be easier.
So do you want me to see if I can come up with a 2-drawer file cabinet or even a lateral file cabinet to put on the side of the desk?
Perfect. Sure.
Let me see what I got.
and he's looking for not signing here, but signing somewhere else.
Well, he doesn't only just sign, he uses a computer, he does the bank reconciliations, he works here. He doesn't just come in and sign. So he
So-
needs a computer station.
So, I mean, he can lock the doors, he doesn't need to let anybody in. I mean, I don't see the issue there with him coming on Sundays. You know, it's not like we have meetings on Sundays.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of any issues, actually, in
Yeah.
the last 69 years.
Well, I'm
But-
I'm the one who brought it up because I didn't like things being so open in boxes and things.
Believe it or not, I knew that, but I wasn't about.
Okay,
But
I'm not worried.
so locking it in a file cabinet should be enough?
That's a huge improvement in my
Okay.
opinion. So we can get a cabinet,
Yeah, let me
that's
see
great.
let me see what
And
I got.
then
One step
I'll look
at a time.
around before any other space
Mm-hmm.
things.
Great.
Okay, so, let's see what else did we talk about?
Did you by chance talk about the fund, the non-lapsing kind of fund for the Agricultural Commission?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you talked about.
yes.
Please enlighten us. What more do we need to know?
Well, we don't have a value yet. What I was gonna recommend to you after the Ag Commission gets their last mowing bill is to open the account with the difference between the community garden fees and the budget that's been spent to date, and it should be about $200 approximately. And open the account with that, and then going forward, put money in.
My mind says the only money left, whatever's left in that budget is what's there because that mowing's been done for the year. I know that. That was a
I
one-time.
know it was done. I don't think if we received a bill yet.
Huh.
I can look.
Well, if it hasn't come to the Agricultural Commission yet, you haven't seen it yet. But I will definitely be sure that we get one to you. Thank you.
On the, I'm switching gears, on the health agencies, you said you would like to meet with the end 68 Hours of Hunger. So I have them scheduled to come in. You still want to meet with them?
Yeah, because they're doing a pretty big increase, right?
Yes. And we have a new applicant, Lakes Region Visiting Nurse Association. Do you want to meet with that new applicant?
How did they, what was their ask? Did they send a letter?
Didn't we already,
Yeah, for $1,500 is their ask.
And they're out of where?
And we already do another VNA.
Right.
Why can't I remember the name? Because it's approaching my bedtime, that's why.
I know.
What's the other VNA that we support?
There's a VNA hospice.
Right.
I don't have their request yet. I'm not quite sure what
So-
caregivers does.
I think we should review any new asks and increase in asks.
So in the last 12 months, we have made 468 home visits to our clients in Tuftonboro. That was what I was looking for. Who they help in Tuftonboro. So it's, I don't know what these acronyms are for. SNS 224, PT, which is physical therapy, 79, occupational therapy is 30, LNA is 12. And then they have hospice. So is this different from VNA hospice? Is there another ask in there from VNA hospice?
I don't have theirs yet.
Okay. And we don't have any contact address or?
So if they've done almost 500 visits in town and looking for $1,500, they're looking for $3 per visit.
Yeah, not bad.
No.
Considering,
From us.
considering what they can do and what they do, which I've witnessed, yeah.
Yep.
Right. I guess, so there's no way of you asking Mary Hilliard to find out who they are, where they are? Because you don't have an address or a phone number?
Of course I can ask her. Well, she emailed it to me, so.
Okay. Yeah, just so we have contact information, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, because again, we,
And ask if they are the same as the VNA hospice that
Okay.
we've been funding. Or if we're gonna have to look for another. But that
So that answers one of her two questions.
doesn't, that is
So,
more
do you
than
want
two
her to
questions.
come in?
The other one? No, the one that, the 68 hours of hunger.
Yeah, no, for $1,500, I don't think we can ask her to come here.
No.
I mean, that's
Okay.
being kind of a jerk, you know? Okay,
But the increase in ask from 68 hours of hunger, how much did they ask for last year and what are they asking for this year?
68. I think they're going from 25 to 35. And 68.
Did they support that with a letter? If they supported it with a letter, I'm okay with that.
in the past, they have it, told us how many recipients, so to speak, the town has of these.
right. Well,
Um,
they told us the gross recipient.
Right.
Right, they don't tell us individually or
So
anything.
they're 2,500, they're asking for
Right,
3,500.
but did they send any numbers or an explanation? As they said, we've increased your town's services or anything?
Food costs more.
Well, it's
I'm
all-
sure there's a cost of living increase that goes with that, food's up too, but,
Yeah, so what I gave you before, it does talk about in gross levels in the school district, not by town.
yeah, and we've just been told that our
And
town has less than,
Well, that's our, we also have kids in high school,
well, that's true,
so we don't have 95 kids in the grammar school,
but that's indicative of a decreasing student
but a dying
population.
community, yeah.
Yeah,
so right now, they're scheduled to come in on the 27th.
they're gonna come in, well, then we should just wait for them to come in. Seems simple enough.
Yeah, and we have a full explanation.
Right. Obviously, I mean, everything's increasing in cost, it's not much going down.
We have appreciated Tufton Borough's allocation of $2,500 and due to the increase in food costs, we are requesting to increase the amount to $3,500.
Seems simple enough. All right, moving on with our,
Okay, as you heard from Chief Shigori, we had a cyber incident last week and we caught it in time. That was great, we caught it in time.
congratulations.
And it sounds like it was preventable? With
Yes.
the right knowledge, it was
Yeah,
preventable?
going forward, I will use a different tactic when people ask me things. So, based on the cyber trainings, I have taken some of it. I was asked for a direct deposit form. I provided the direct deposit form. I got
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stand by my position of last Friday when I heard about it.
Mm.
I think people have to do it in person.
Right.
You know, if somebody wants to change the bank they're using, they have to come in person and fill out the forms and do whatever they need to do.
I agree. If
Because
it's
a lot
that-
of it happened on.
If it's that important, then they have time enough to do it. If they're a town employee especially, I mean, which they are,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? It's not like everybody's working every single day.
right.
Or if it's that important, then their supervisor would give them a half an hour to come down here and do what needs to be done. I mean, it's not,
I don't know if we don't have a time clock in the place, so.
no.
I think they can figure it out.
Tonight's the first I've heard of this incident.
Yeah, me as well, but
I'm
That's
gonna hear
okay.
about it at the county, cause it seems like a good way to make a lot of money.
And actually, the bank called today and you spoke to them and they said
Yes.
multiple towns have been getting calls.
yes, this isn't just us.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that was just one bank. A couple other towns with other banks are probably having the same issues.
Okay, so I worked with DRA to get the tax rate set when we went to increase the payments in lieu of taxes. That required the updated MS1, which has to go through the assessor. And so I didn't realize for $7,000 it was gonna create a delay in the tax rate getting set. So we're pushing her, did you get it? And
So we haven't set the tax rate.
so,
I mean, do we wanna take a vote that if it can't get cleared up by Friday, we just,
oh no, if it's not clear tomorrow, I would waive it.
yeah,
It's like, it's,
I mean, it's not, 7 grand
noise.
is gonna change
no,
the rate that
yeah.
dramatically.
Please make a motion.
I'll make a motion that if the state of New Hampshire obfuscates beyond tomorrow, that we will just eliminate the increase in payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I just need to understand a little bit more. We will,
Okay, we changed the income numbers.
Yeah.
So on that, they had reduced our payment in lieu of taxes, the money we get from the camps,
yeah,
down to I think $1,000. Because that's all we had collected, but the camps generally pay at the end of the year if they're gonna pay.
right, and we're not there yet.
So without those numbers being cast in stone, we can't actually get the MS1 done and the tax rate set, and Jackie Rollins can't send the tax bills out.
So if there's any difference, do we make it up next spring, or we just absorb
We
it?
don't make it up.
No, we just, if, let's say let's say we have to back it down to $1,000, and by the end of 23, we end up with $10,000 in there. That's 9,000 in additional income that we got, so when we go into 24, we're working on a larger number for, I think it probably just goes in that fund balance anyway, doesn't
Right.
it? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, motion was made and seconded that if the DRA does not come through before tomorrow at the end of business, the tax rate that we had accepted at the last meeting will be in effect. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. All right,
Okay, I want to remind everyone the offices are closed on Friday because of Veterans Day.
Oh,
and
so when do we sign the checks?
I'm coming
I'm coming
Thursday
Thursday.
afternoon. Although if they weren't signed till Monday, it wouldn't be the end of
Right,
the
if you
world.
came in Monday morning, because we don't process them.
But we're meeting next Monday, are we not?
Yes,
Yes, we are.
so,
It'll be a 9 o'clock meeting
Right.
next
It's 9
Monday.
o'clock meeting. Okay.
But I'll be here 3:30ish on Thursday if you wanna be here with me.
They'll be down Thursday, anyway, won't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Audrey.
thank you.
Moving along.
All right, in spite of my reluctance with email, I did have a chance to read over this New Hampshire Electric Co-op,
Yes.
and my understanding from the office is that all the information requested has been submitted and was submitted in October. So this is sort of moot. Obviously, there's gotta be a determination from tax and land appeals, but
Okay. Simplifies that then.
yeah. I did provide Bob and I'll provide, Guy with a copy of the response I got from Bright Spot on the solar. Did you get that?
I think it's in my folder.
Yeah, I got it right here too.
Right. We're still waiting for the other two companies to get back with a final proposed number.
I'm pretty sure I saw it.
I've got multiple copies.
Yeah, but why if you don't need to?
Well,
I know it said bright spot, and it had a bright spot on it.
here, my,
How I
it's
could,
just the budget committee.
mine was in color. Thank you. I did, and I looked at that, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And, okay, we're getting some responses and things are coming
Yeah,
in.
I'm hoping that we get this whole thing packaged up by the end of the month.
Yes, I know, well, when I get to speaking, I'll speak more on
Oh, there's it right on top.
that. Yeah, that's what I had, but I don't know where it is now.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Bright spot. All right, anything else for us, Chip?
No, I think we're all set.
Bob?
Just had planning board meeting last week. The case of the subdivision next to the motel, the old Melvin Village Motel, is still ongoing. Finally coming to some resolution, will probably be voted on at the next planning board meeting. We kicked something to the ZBA.
Yes.
Something that's gonna be happening down in Cane Valley.
Right.
That's about it.
Oh, yeah.
They want to rent out 10 bedrooms and it's only set up for 8. Okay, they'll work with that.
Yeah, and we don't have anything in the zoning that reflects 10 bedrooms.
Right.
So we need them to make a determination.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be reclassified, it's no longer low density residential. I mean, 10 bedrooms, it's essentially a small hotel.
Yeah, they plan on having events, outdoor music, weddings, that type of thing. And this is the first step in that
We're not
process.
gonna make any money in 2024, cause that road's gonna get torn up.
And if it doesn't get by this bedroom count thing from the ZBA, then it's not even worth discussing.
Yeah.
So that's the first step.
Very good. I received a letter, actually 2 letters, from CIP chairman, wondering where our submissions are and expressing concern that no one showed up at the last meeting. My response to her was that, well, we haven't decided what we might use as a capital improvement project yet. And we were certainly not going to be able to give her anything in the time frame that she requested. But we would be discussing such things, as always. And my comment basically to you guys is that they see everything before we ever do, that we might actually submit. I mean, the department heads go to them, not to us, with these CIP requests. So until we see the CIP report, well, we certainly don't want to be submitting doubles by any means, or anything like that. And for example, she did ask about solar, and I was told that we're trying to compile enough information and bids and things to present something at some point in time, but until we have it, we just can't do anything. So that would be that. Tomorrow night, I attend the Agricultural Commission, where we will be working on a budget. And if the cemetery trustees want me to stay and help them with their budget, I will. I believe Wednesday night is a CIP meeting, and if you want me to, I'll attend. I'm not the representative, so.
I thought it was, did you say Wednesday at 11:30 in the morning?
No.
No, that's the one on the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So,
I'll go.
This one here is at 6:30 at the library.
I'll go.
well, I may go just for entertainment purposes.
I mean, I'm not, it's, the schedule of events is trying to be changed, and I'm not sure we're ready to change that.
Right. I think they're rushing the thing quite a bit.
It's, we will make decisions about what we feel that a good warrant article is. The budget committee will weigh in on what they think of our suggestions. And then,
And the voters will do what they do.
then it goes to the town.
Yeah.
And up to the plan until 2041, I'll be 90. That's not gonna happen.
I hope to be alive. That's all I have. Any other things that come to mind, or any business that we need to discuss further?
No, other than that, Phil seems displeased at our decision about the police station.
Well, that's,
And I understand, he's put a lot
We
of,
have-
he's put a lot of work
We
into
have
it.
he's been
time.
paid for his time now, it's not, let's not get too upset about this.
I've been watching the building permits coming through, and
Mhm.
things are slowing down.
Yep.
They really are, and I'm wondering if the materials costs might come down. He mentioned some police station he was doing somewhere that went at $600 a square foot,
Right,
which surprised him. But,
well, I do know that one of our local contractors last week started framing a 4,500 square foot building. It's a little bigger than our police station, but I'm in close contact with him. I can follow that along for a while and see how that works out. But
yeah.
construction costs being what they are, they're not cheap anymore, that's for sure. And again, delays can come, getting windows, doors, things like that all the time. But when they give you a price, at least they've been sticking to it, even though it might take 26 weeks to get something. If they told us it's gonna be this much, they've stuck with that, so I don't know. Lumber's always up and down a little bit.
No, I don't think it's the material cost that's driving this
No.
thing, I really don't. So,
We'll see. Good. If there's no other business,
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Not a bad meeting.